another chapter of Expected Unexpected by Arctic Vulpix. In the last chapter, Jeremy got to meet all the animatronics properly, and Hedy and Jeremy kind of found out why, like just a little bit, why the animatronics went after the night guard. However, he didn't take it well, so we're gonna go into this chapter, and hopefully maybe see why. I mean, I know why because I've read it, so I've updates on the story. But I believe from the looks of it, this chapter is the reason we're gonna find it. She's gonna find out. So let's just get right into this. And if you want to follow along, chapter link is in the description below, as always, for you to follow along. So let's get started. Chapter 54, Ghosts. Hedy honestly couldn't care less about Ruby's pirate night at the moment. She needed something distracting. Inventory. She had put off doing it for so long simply because she had mixed feelings about being in that room. Parts of the services. Granted, it wasn't the exact same room as the one she was really avoiding. That one was long gone, sitting behind a wall in an old building somewhere that used to be her Freddy's. But still, people had died here. Her uncle had died here. Hedy groaned and rested her head on the table. Ghosts have been here the whole time? Just watching them? Watching her? That was ridiculous, right? What was this? The Twilight Zone? She was already dealing with sentient robots. This was too much craziness for one job, especially with Jeremy there. She shouldn't have stormed out of the room like that. She tried so hard to keep everyone believing she had coped with what happened. That she had recovered. Now what was Jeremy going to think? He worried enough. As for the bots, well, if they didn't recognize her when she first met them, they probably did now. Maybe Goldie would tell them. Toys? Puppet? Ghosts? Explained so much, but she just couldn't believe that those kids were to blame for the pain the night guards went through. Jeremy and Scott included. They were just kids. How could Ruby say those things about them? They were just little kids. They couldn't hurt anyone. They were killed and nobody cared anymore. And now Ruby was using them to justify the originals. Not even Hedy could buy what she was telling herself. She couldn't say that it was the originals' fault, not after working with them for this long. They were sweet and a little broken, but not killers. Not by choice. A few tears streaked down her face as she continued to let her head rest on the table. She remembered that time when Ruby had run her over and Toby had to carry her to the main room where the originals were. Freddy had mentioned something about the toys having a choice to kill. Stop it, she scowled herself. There's no reason to cry, she sniffed. Breathe slowly and count to 10. She did just that until the hiccups went away. Then she continued to talk to herself through the issue. Ask questions. Look at the evidence, she muttered. Okay, first question. Do ghosts exist? Possibly. If robots can have souls, then humans have souls, and I suppose they could get trapped and not move on. Second question. Could they be the killers? She paused and swallowed. Yes, they could. Trauma like that can make people go insane. Grown adults. And these are kids. So how might they react to being murdered? Third questions. Are there really ghosts here? Ruby has yet to give me any reason not to believe her. She took a breath. However, I haven't seen a ghost since I've been here. And what about Springtrap? She whispered. Strange name. Of all the things in the world that could terrify her, the idea of that man still being out there was at the top of the list, even above the idea of homicidal 5 to 7 year olds. For years she feared he would come and hunt her down to finish what he started. She just learned he was dead. She should be relieved. What kind of sick world does she live in that a person still has to fear someone after death? He's possessing an animatronic, apparently. A bot who was Goldie's friend, and that monster was coming here. There were so many things wrong with this. What was she going to do? She couldn't avoid him. If he was real, shut up, Hedy, you're in denial. She couldn't use the police, for obvious reasons. She couldn't leave the toys, the originals, and Ruby by themselves to deal with him. He might hurt someone. No, he will hurt someone. Ruby's most definitely going to do something stupid and make a deal with him. It's like her signature now. Everything is cause and effect with that girl. He looked over to the graffiti on the wall she found the first week she was there. It was in Ruby's handwriting. He recognized it from seeing Ruby's time card in the staff room. The graffiti itself was simple. Steve was here, in a messy, loopy, slightly dripping lettering with a red cartoon phone in the corner. Steve was here, she mumbled. Does Scott know about the kids? Is that why he insisted on staying here for so many years? Why he was willing to risk his life every night? Probably. Did he know what happened to the murderer? He shook her head. No, he couldn't know. There wasn't any reason to keep something like that to himself. But he's gone now. His house was emptied and already the home of someone else's. His car gone. No one knows he's gone. No one close to him, but she and Jeremy knew he was dead. And they could tell. Everything that could remind others that he was once a living, breathing human who cared for his family and loved his job, no matter how horrible it was gone. Just gone. There was nothing left but a few pictures, a few recordings, and a few videos Jeremy shot ages ago. Had he been in pain? Did he suffer? He squeezed her eyes shut and moaned. She shouldn't think about things like that. She knew the bot suits better than anyone, and no one deserved to die like that. You wanted answers, she snapped at herself morosely. You got some. Why are you being so stupid about it? Her voice was harsh and bitter. That's what I came here for. Ruby and the bots wouldn't lie about something like that. It's nuts. Crazy. But maybe, just maybe the truth is crazy. If I don't believe her, or at least listen, then I'm in the wrong either way. Even if it isn't true. Was she really believing anything coming out of her own mouth? He suddenly jumped when she felt a slight breeze blow across the back of her neck. That was weird. The air conditioner was broken in here, and in any case, on the other side of the room. You're imagining things, a voice in the back of her head whispered, while Hedy shook her head. You're talking to yourself a lot. That's a lot of stuff to think about aloud. You need to get some proper sleep before you keel over. Don't worry about inventory right now. It can wait. And the others will get worried you were attacked by the ghosts if you stay too long. He frowned. Ghosts? Where did that come from? If she still didn't completely believe they were there, why would she believe they would attack her? And you're hearing things too, apparently, the voice said. Again, though it seemed a little different. Probably should get that checked out, Wiggy, the voice whispered in her mind again with a stifled giggle. I hear sleep deprivation makes even grown-ups cranky. The voice took on a slightly haughty tone. Still can't believe she is one. Did you miss us? We rarely missed you. At least you're here now. And alone. Hedy looked around in confusion while sighing and rubbing her temples. Maybe she should learn to meditate. Maybe that would calm her down. Those voices. Wait. Hedy had literally only 1 second to realize that those voices weren't coming from inside her head, before a shelf fell down by itself, blocking the door. Uncontrolled giggles and snickers filled the room. Don't you want to play with us? Suddenly there was a loud crash from the direction of parts of the surface, followed by a shrill scream. Toy Bunny will never admit that he tripped over his own feet in his haste to stand up, nor will he admit that two of the 3 other present toys actually ran over him, stepping over her hand and his back. Jeremy sprinted ahead of them with little regard for any possible danger. Everyone went to investigate, concerned about what could make the mechanic shout like that. Goldie got there first by teleporting. Ruby and Jeremy got there next at the same time, being the fastest, followed closely Mangled and Foxy. Puppet went too, but all he got was a few warning glances while being ignored by the rest. Hedy, you okay? Ruby shouted, hitting the door with her hand in an attempt to shove it open when using the doorknob didn't work. She winced as the action pulled her arm, but ignored it. Get me out of here! Hedy's voice was weirdly muffled, more so than just from being behind the door. Hold on, Hedy, Jeremy said, a little panicky while seeing the words parts of the surface on the door. Are you okay? Goldie, maybe you could? Ruby trailed off at the way the originals, Goldie included, were glaring at the door. The toys were staring too, but there was a different look on their faces. Goldie? Ruby could feel the ghosts nearby, watching her. It wasn't really surprised, though. They were all just talking about them. They definitely had something to do with whatever was happening to Hedy. Actually, the night guard was a little curious as to why they had left Hedy alone for this long. Goldie blinked, then nodded. I got her. She disappeared for a moment before popping back into the hall with one hand on dizzy and nauseous mechanic's chair. Goldie was staring at the mechanic in confusion. Ruby blinked in surprise. What the heck did you do? She asked incredulously, a snicker bubbling up from the back of her throat. I don't know. Hedy sounded annoyed while she reached up to feel her head. All I know is that 1 second I'm doing inventory, the next I black out and my head is stuck in something. What the heck is on my head? There was a slight quiver in her voice, but Ruby didn't press. Hedy seemed to have other problems at the moment. One of my masks, Freddie explained, while Foxy snickered and Bonnie smirked. Chica looked more than a little concerned. Jeremy looked very concerned as he checked over his sister. The toys looked confused, squinting at Hedy with blank frowns. Well, Ruby was properly snickering now. I'd love to hear how you explain this, but how about we get it off first? The night guard reached forward to... No! The panicked shout came from everyone except Ruby. Plus Mangle's screech was deafening and caused her to jerk her hands away from Hedy's head in shock. What? Ruby shouted angrily, also slightly panicked. I'd appreciate it if you didn't cause a crossbeam to screw up my brain. Oh, did I say it right? Screw up my brain. Hedy snapped, a bit hysterically, as she pushed Ruby away blindly. She couldn't see anything outside the mask, and it was completely dark inside. She was trying her very hardest not to move because she knew what kind of devices were just centimeters from her eyes. On the inside of the head, there were wired coupling and dozens of little clasps that are supposed to lock into the endoskeleton skull with a fair amount of force. They mostly were at the top of the head where the ears were, the area right behind the eyes, and the area around the mouth. It was the reason why the bots were all so expressive. Just a push and they could snap into place and, well, it might not kill her if the ear clasps weren't too close to the top of her skull, but she'd absolutely be blinded. Die wouldn't come from blood loss either, if she avoided brain injury, although both were still a problem. She'd suffocate on her own blood from a gouge in her neck, from the locks that connected the head to the rest of the body. She knew all this, and the animatronics likely all knew this. She was just hoping they wouldn't tell Ruby or Jeremy how much danger she was really in. Neither of them were freaking out. Neither of them freaking out would be a good thing. What? Ruby repeated and crossed her arms. There's devices in it, Jeremy snapped. There are facial parts and whatnot. It's a miracle she even got in that thing alive, Foxy said, tilting his head. I don't see how she got that on without killing herself. That thing is my face, by the way. Freddie sounded miffed. He ignored him and snapped. Do I look like I'm an idiotic enough to attempt to do this? I didn't do this. I just kind of... He trailed off, realizing how crazy what she needed to say was going to be. Appeared around my head? Okay, that sounded stupid out loud. Ruby shared a glance with the originals while the toys nervously looked at each other and Puppet. Goldie mumbled. Someone teleported onto your head? There was silence as Hedy processed what she said. They couldn't see her face, but they could imagine her pursing her lips. Maybe, she said. There was giggling down the hall, which caused everyone to turn their heads to see 6 ghost children, completely in stitches at their little joke. The 6th kid was hiding around the corner, peeking out nervously and looking rather uncomfortable. His presence threw the animatronics for a loop. Okay, you brats, Ruby hissed, while the originals flinched at the sight and the toys waved at them hesitantly. Joke's over. Take it off. She seemed 5 seconds away from actually trying to attack the ghosts, as illogical as that was. Jeremy was staring at them silently, his face pale. He was shaking and grabbed Hedy's wrist, a look of horrified recognition on his face. Who are you talking to? He snapped, a little worriedly. She trailed off as she thought about it for a moment. Oh no. Those brats I told you about, Ruby snapped. The ones you said I was lying about. She still sounded miffed about that little detail. Is that right? Hedy's voice had lost all emotion. Yeah. Toby, Toy Chica, and Toy Freddy mumbled awkwardly. Mangle shifted from foot to foot. The originals all threw stern glares at their younger counterparts. The ghosts were still there, although they had quieted and were watching with an interest, staring at Hedy the whole time, except for the occasional giggle. Hedy was silent for 3 seconds while she tensed up and clenched her fists. Ruby, take this damn suit head off so that I can see you when I punch your teeth in, she hissed. The cold tone in her voice left no room for any doubt that she wouldn't do it if she wanted to. As if we'd let you, Bonnie ground out. Stepping forward a little, the originals tensed and glared at her, their protective side coming out. What did I do? Ruby took the threat with grace, but still looked a little shocked. Those murders make that the worst day of many people's lives, so excuse me if I'm a little slow to believe the spirits of those kids hung around to kill people. And if they did, which I'm starting to get, then you don't have to shove it in my face like an insensitive jerk. He was livid. You can't be serious. You still don't believe me? Ruby growled. Great to hear that you think I can be that insensitive. I can't see anything to believe right now, Ruby. I'm not having a good day. If you can't tell me, so give me a break and let me cling to my skepticism until the stupid head comes off. Hedy snapped back. And where's my brother? Holding your hand, Jeremy said with a shocked expression. His gaze was still locked on the ghosts. Is it? He murmured, almost inaudible under the foam. Jeremy swallowed. Yeah, it's them. One of the ghosts tilted his head and smiled at Jeremy, which made the former night guard cringe. Ruby glared at the siblings, squashing down her curiosity in favor of anger. Do you know them? She hissed. Yeah, this was a little funny, until she learned it was dangerous. She wasn't surprised those brats would think something lethal was hilarious. The kids grinned wider while the bots started staring at Hedy. If she knew them, they should have recognized her, right? I could get it off. Goldie broke the silence, looking for permission from Jeremy. Safely? Please, Hedy said shortly. Ruby sighed, still angry, and shrugged, but stepped back to put some distance between her and Hedy. Maybe we'd get a little more reaction time if Hedy decided to throw something. How comes you know about them? I never was able to find anything online. It's like this place doesn't exist on the internet. It's like the murders never happened, she asked, voice clipped. Goldie held the Freddy head by the ears before teleporting it and herself a couple feet away, leaving Hedy frazzled and blinking a squint away. Hedy coughed and shook her head, breaking her fingers through her hair. Money can hide a lot of things. She froze upon seeing the ghosts. No, she whispered. Hi, Wiggy, one of the girls greeted. Did you like our joke? You're dead, he said. Blah. So, use your imagination. Say hi at least. Hi? He said blankly. She was sitting ramrod straight, fear, confusion, and horror flashing behind her eyes. Jeremy shifted closer to his sister protectively. Ruby was watching them, a scowl on her face. Now do you believe me? Or are you going to accuse me of using some hologram technology to create this? She snapped. Yeah, forget it. I'm leaving. Have a happy reunion. The night guard stalked away, the originals following after her. The reaction was so odd for Ruby to take that they were abruptly worried. Soon it was just the siblings, the ghosts, and the toys. The sixth ghost kid had run away as well. And that's the end of chapter 54. So Hedy finally met the ghost children, but she had an interesting reaction to them. And the ghost kids seemed to recognize her. Wonder why. I won't spoil it, because that's what this fanfiction is. That makes no sense. Go read the fanfiction, because we're done here. And I can't stop you if you want to keep reading, okay? And so, go, we're done. Go leave a review, who show the author some love. You don't need an account, it just means the author can't respond back, so yeah. And be sure to like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe. I upload new videos every Friday and Saturday. And I'll see you guys tomorrow with the next chapter of A Treasure Discovery. Bye!